Few customs when it comes to the Sefer Torah. The first one is that people will often kiss the part that they're reading with their talus or with the girdle. This is not a mystical act. It's a way of showing connection and love for the Torah. And it's done with these items because we do not want to touch the scroll itself with our hands. Some rabbis warned against doing it too much or with too much pressure because you might affect the letters on the scroll, but on the ground, people aren't as worried about that, and they just kiss the Torah and move on to the reading of the Parsha, the brachot, and the bracha and the reading of the Parsha. Another custom is to roll up the Torah scroll before making the after bracha, Asher Natanu Torat Emet, after the reading of one's aliyah. We do this because we don't want it to look like we're reading those brachot from the Torah scroll. We want people to know that what we read was all the Parsha. And for someone who comes in who doesn't know, they might not have known that. They might have thought you're continuing the Parsha, and the brachot are included in that. So we want to just make that separation. So we'll close the Torah scroll and make the after bracha, after one's aliyah, with it closed. Now one might ask, why don't we do that in the very beginning? Some people do. When they make a Asher B'Charbanu, they'll close the Torah scroll, the bracha before the aliyah. But some don't, and the reason is that there's a lot of opening and closing going on there. First, they have to open it up to see where they're reading from, then close it to make the bracha, then open up again. And because this might be a delay for the community, we allow them to keep it open while they're making the first bracha. However, it said that one should turn away from the Torah scroll for the same reason, so it doesn't look like one's reading the brachot from the Torah scroll. And one should turn to one's left. And the reason for that is that when one turns to one's left, one is facing Hashem, Hashem's right. And Hashem's right is the source of strength. We do this also with Oseh Shalom B'Ramav. When we take steps back after the Shemona Esrei, we'll turn left first because that's towards Hashem's right. A final idea connected to the reading of the Torah is the order of the brachot. The first bracha is Asher B'Chabanu Mikol Ami V'Natan Lanu Torato. The second bracha after the reading of the Torah, Asher Natan Torat Emet, L'Chayei Olam Natah B'Tochenu. The first bracha focuses on God choosing us, Asher B'Charbanu, and the final bracha, according to some commentators, focuses on completely Torah. The written Torah, Asher Natan Torat Emet, and then the oral Torah, L'Chayei Olam Natah B'Tochenu. So the first bracha focuses on, before we start reading, we focus on God choosing us. And the reason for that is it's supposed to help us adopt the proper orientation to Torah, which is understanding that every Jew is important, not due to their religious stature, just because of them being Jews, of them being in connection with Hashem. That's why we precede the reading and the learning of our Torah with Asher B'Charbanu. Hashem chose us, Hashem wants us, Hashem wants to be in connection with us. And due to that, every Jew is important, every Jew is special, no matter how great they are in Torah. And that's something important to remember as one starts reading from the Torah. And that's why the bracha, Asher B'Charbanu, starts our reading. And then only afterwards we talk about the Torah with the after bracha, Asher Natan Torat Emet. This is to help us see things in a humble way and never lose sight of how important everybody is, no matter how much we grow in Kedusha and the learning of Torah.